The Q&A session will be moderated by Dr. Gomez. Members of the floor, you are welcome to pose any questions if you have.
Right, a very good evening to all present, the participants especially. Honorable speakers, once again, thanks very much for obliging to straight away have this Q&A session. Right, it's very important that we take this opportunity to bring out certain particular issues that we feel that might concern you as a participant, whether you're from industry or whether you are from the universities. So would anyone like to start by putting forward any particular, or take a lead on the questions besides the ones that you have posed earlier? Or do you want me to start the ball rolling? Okay, I have a question then. I'll start things. We in Malaysia seem to be a little bit reluctant to invest on ideas, knowing that it's, as what Mr. Sandy Peng put up, saying this is a statistics, the numbers that actually materialize in terms of commercialization are minimal. So what's the buy-in then? How do we convince people that, come on, let's get you people into the universities and try to collaborate with us because we've got ideas here and we've got people here with expertise. Would you like to work with us so that we can develop this further and then move on to commercialization? Any comments?
Since you asked me, when you talk about the failure of projects, and I showed some statistics that are fairly concerning, and most people are afraid to invest because they don't see the return on their investment. But in reality, even failed projects actually provide quite a bit of success. And one of the, I mentioned the project that failed for me, but there was a lot of technology and a lot of innovation that occurred in that project that carried on to other projects that ended up providing quite a bit of wealth to the company. And most people don't think about the advantages of having the innovation projects. You talk about an incubator firm. They're not running as individual projects. You need some sort of knowledge management system so you can gain from the innovations that take place, even if it's a failed project. I don't know if anybody else has anything to say on that. I
would just comment very quickly on that before anyone proceeds. I think it's a very good point that you've made. I think the problem is, we have got a problem now of wanting to put in measures, right? We want to measure everything. So we have all these KPIs that point in the direction of clear outputs. And we do not seem to point in terms of measuring value that comes in, which is not the primary focus or the objective of the project or the initiative. So I would agree with you. I've come across a case in Singapore where they do structure their knowledge and they do knowledge management. They actually do knowledge management. They do try to abstract the knowledge that goes into projects in a very, I would say, very structured manner. Okay, that's my comment. Any input from the other speakers?
Just a general comment. I mean, this is a paradigm we all have a challenge with trying to solve, and that's industry, of course, is looking for as close to market entry as it can before taking on a technology from university. That reduces its risk. The closer to market entry a technology is, and the greater certainty of entering the marketplace, then the less risk it takes. So industry is very averse. That's at one end of the spectrum. At the other end of the spectrum, universities and research institutes in the research community don't necessarily see it as their role to do product development. They see it as their role to be inventive and come up with new ideas and be creative in that conceptual way, but not necessarily to travel the pathway to commercialization. And in the middle, there's a great big gap, a gap between partly money, but also partly motivation. industry is not necessarily motivated to come closer to the basic research. Universities and research institutes and research communities not necessarily motivated to get closer to market entry. Now, how to bridge that gap? I mean, one way of attempting to do so, of course, is money, making money available to help bridge that gap. The harder question is motivation. How do you motivate industry to be less risk averse and to be prepared to take on a project that is further away from market entry? And then how do you motivate scientists who are measured on the basis of academic publications and the like? How do you motivate scientists to give a lower priority to for example, pursuing academic pursuits and pursuing more pursuits that might be more described as product development, getting more involved in the protection of IP and patenting and being acknowledged for having done so? How you change those perspectives and those motivations on both ends, not just one, but on both ends, is a challenge. And I don't think it's just solved by money. It's not just simply throwing more money at it. It's a perspective issue that a lot of things, I guess, might need to be done to help nurture a change in those perspectives on both ends of that spectrum to bring them closer to each other. I don't have an answer, I just have the problem.
Okay. That's giving us an idea of what landscape we're looking at. I think SMIDAC as a grant provider, what would you be thinking of when you say, like, I would like UTHM researchers or industry people here from the SMEs come to us. We're very good at providing you people with grants, but what is, are you averse to failure? Do you look at failure as the end to everything?
Is this on? Okay. Okay, I'll start with the end statement. Do we look at failure as a problem? Well, essentially, we know, because most of our work is at the SME end. So we work with the SMEs. And we know that there are cases that you have already provided them with a grant or an incentive to improve their business. It may involve purchase of a machinery, getting them through a quality system, but it is no guarantee that they will be successful. But our role in this is essentially to help the SME achieve an objective for which they have come to SMIDAC for a grant. Sometimes we know, or when we look at the company, we can guess that they may be able to get the production right, but they will have a problem with the marketing. So we know at the next stage, once they've got the production going and they've got all the things moving, then they say, oh, we don't have a market. At that point, they still have options, because SMIDAC will say, okay, we can try to help, but we cannot guarantee. So the thing is, we try to facilitate. We cannot guarantee the company success in having taken up our grants. In the case of when we're talking about a researcher wanting to become a business, or wanting to go into a business with his research idea, he himself wants to be the entrepreneur. What SMIDAC can do is give him a break in terms of, as I said, as a business startup. You could come to SMIDAC, you could talk to the business counselors, we could advise you on possibilities of what is a good business plan. We could direct you to people who could help you with your business plan, how to start your office and so on. We could assist, but you would have to do it yourself. But what we do is we provide a grant for you to start up. And this is a grant, it is money up front. The only thing is you have to spend first. And for the business startup, it's 40,000. We don't expect you to spend 40,000 and get reimbursed 20,000. To facilitate this, people, because cash is a problem, having money to start. So we say, you can claim in 8 months. So we break it into 8 months period. So if you have your rental after 8 months you have paid, we will reimburse the 50% so that you could go on. So again, what we can do is to provide an assistance to facilitate you, but we wouldn't question you if your business startup didn't get through, because you have actually spent the money in accordance with the conditions of the grant. If you do not start your business, we don't penalize. That's the beauty of the grants. But of course, we would like to see that, okay, you can start off with a business startup. And if you have gone further into your project, you need to go into product and process improvement. Here again, we will try to offer what are the possible assistance that we could give. Essentially, I go back to the objective of SMIDAC. It is actually to facilitate your entry into a business. And of course, if you grow, that's good. But if you fail, we don't penalize you. We don't ask for the grant back. Okay.
Yeah, we are quite safe then in that sense. But I would just like to comment, if I may, regarding the reimbursement. So which means to say, if a spin-off company from the university, are we going to be classified according to the same category as SME?
The SME category is quite simple, the 25 million, yes. You would have to be either a registrar of business or registrar of company, and you fulfill the ownership, then you can qualify for the grant. So you could be, you just register yourself as, well, to start off, ROB is fine. But, you know, if you can see that it's going to move, you can go into ROC, which we prefer actually. But we don't, you know, we understand that sometimes you want to test, see how it goes over 1 year. And normally we would like to see a company go from an enterprise to a registered company within 3 years. So we would also try to see how you could get some assistance on that. Okay? And this can come through the education programs and the the courses offered by the skill centers that we are affiliated with. Then you enjoy a 50% reduction of training fees and so on. So those are part and parcel of the developing business.
Yeah, I'd like to build on the education piece, because I think if you're looking to improve the overall success rate and, you know, avoid the risk of losing the money, there need to be educational systems in place to help the entrepreneur understand how the innovation process works. And at least in my opinion, I don't believe there's adequate training in that area at this point in time. Most people try to manage innovation the way they would if they were already in a sustaining company. And innovation is really a whole different style of leadership and management, and you need to train people on those skills in order to be successful, I think.
Right. Thank you for that comment. Anything from Mr. Ikuro?
I'm sure that many of the Malaysian companies are interested in, at least potentially interested in innovations. If not product innovations, I'm sure that most of the companies are interested in process innovation at least. And why the those industries think there's no use talking to the universities is I think that universities are not interested in the innovations which industries are interested in. So now that's what the director of entrepreneurship is working on, and something like technology focal points and other programs. And so the first thing is starting to increase the contacts between academia and industry. That would be the first step. And there'll be few numbers of collaborations between universities and industries. So I hope that university researchers becomes more interested in process and innovations which are important to the industries.
Okay, thank you very much for that comment. Any comments from members of the floor?
I would like to find out from Mr. Philip Mantis about the size of market of the e-nose, because you're talking about the continuous real-time monitoring of the sewage, the odor and all this. What's the size of market in Australia? Thank you.
I don't have any idea. I know the company's existence, and I've had something to do with the company, but I've never been intimately involved in its business. So, and of course, there are only two applications that I mentioned: the application of abattoirs and sewage. There are other industrial applications of industries that, in the course of whatever they produce, they use chemicals that perhaps even are dangerous chemicals. But this device enables the constant measurement of those sorts of things. The size of market, I don't have any idea. And other applications, I couldn't tell you.
Does that answer your question? Right, okay. Any more questions we can take?
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Ibrahim. I'm coming from University Technical Malaysia, Melaka. I got two questions here. So my question to everybody. So my first question is about product commercialization. So normally we don't have any problem for any new invention. We are from university, you don't have any problem for creating new invention. But normally our problem is to commercialize our product. So from your experience, how or what are the criteria in order to commercialize our product? That is my first question. My second question is, to what extent creativity and innovation can be used in commercializing our product? Thank you.
Can I start off with maybe Mr. Ikuro?
Yes, today I spoke about the difficulty in commercializing the existing inventions. And see, this is, at least you could utilize your technology as a showcase, to appeal to the industry to start collaboration. But without collaboration, I doubt, the further effective commercialization of your technology. So what I recommend is, if you have the technology that you think very good, you can use it to show the industry how good you are. That's my advice. Thank you.
There's a concept in the U.S., I don't know how popular it is here, called open innovation, which is similar to what you've been talking about as far as the poll. And one way to get better commercialization might be to have industry come in and give an idea of the areas that they're interested in seeing the new technologies, the new developments, so that when you're looking for commercialization, you have a better idea of where the market is, the people who are interested in it. And I don't know if there's any formal system in place to share these needs of the companies, and also the other way around with the technologies that the university is working on, and make that connection. So that was my comment.
I must mention that this was the same issue that we brought up at the Ministry of Higher Learning when Puan Fadila was presenting her session, her piece on these exact issues. And on our part, if you can see the turnout here today, if we can ask how many people from industry are here, can you put up your hands, please? 2. That's the number that we've managed to garner through the services of an event manager, which means to say we've got professional people who've tried to reach out to industry, but still it's difficult. Any comments?
Okay, I'll go to your question. The question, the product commercialization how do you commercialize a product? Give me a few million and I'll tell you. But I think that has been an issue that's been debated at length. And I think the speakers today have also put forth many viewpoints as to the different approaches. Okay, let me go into the more practical mode of the reality of where we are at. I guess I can speak with some authority with my background as Mastic. I've actually seen the list of R&D products, and I've actually, handled the database on the technology market, TechMart. And this is something I expressed, I think, quite vocally when I was with the Ministry of Higher Education, because at that point in time, I have been in both worlds, okay? So this is one of the things I asked. You see, in the university, you have an idea. It can be a brilliant idea, and you believe that there'll be someone who could commercialize it. But the road to commercialization is very, very long. I did mention, when you look at Malaysian industry, SMEs are 99.2%. They are the ones who are going to commercialize your products. Don't hope for the 1,400 up there because they're busy with their other things. Okay, generally the industry is small and medium. They want market-ready products. Essentially, if you want to take your product out to be commercialized, the definition of commercialization, you have to look into it. What do you mean by a commercializable product? To the SME, I take it and I sell it. If you really want to go, someone to commercialize it, it has to be ready. The other thing is, you may want to look at it from another way when you talk about commercialization. The university is the knowledge base. You have many, many disciplines. There is good knowledge here. The SMEs out there, they need knowledge. They need new ways of doing their business. They need new techniques, not necessarily technology, but even new processes, improved process and products. You might want to consider commercialization reverse. Go to them, find out what is it that you could do for them, and then develop it, and then cut a deal, whether they want to pay for it, license it, buy it, because that's something they want and they need. But one of the things that I discuss quite at length with the Ministry of Higher Education is that at the end, what the SME is interested in is how much money will that make for me? Okay. The second question, to what extent, what kind of thing can you do to market the product? This is again something that I described. When I got the list of commercialized products that are supposed to be commercializable, it was in a language which no layman will understand. I have a chemistry background, so I should be able to understand, and I didn't understand most of it. Some of the things, they go into how great this enzyme is, and this is the best technology, the most efficient thing. But to the SME, if you're talking about marketing your technology or your discovery, you have to go into, okay, you use this and it will convert the fertilizer into something very efficient. You may need to use 10% of what you're using, and therefore you would save this much money. They don't really care whether you are using the latest technology or yesterday's technology, but what can it do? It can increase the productivity of something I'm doing by X%. That translates into dollars and cents for me. That is how you market your product. I have also attended fairs or expos where universities put their products. Typically, it goes university by university and so on. Fantastic things. Posters with very, very good descriptions, which only people from university understand. A layman will not know that this is a process that can improve the quality, the keeping quality, or whatever it is. It's just not there. So if you want to market your products, you have to know your market. even in industry, if you produce something, you have to know your market. It can be a brilliant product, but you don't know the market. Nobody wants it. At the end of the day, what I would say is, I think universities have to get into understanding more about what is the real industry like, what is their language even. Having spoken to people from industry, one of the common things is they know the industry, the universities are good and they have good technologies and so on. But when it comes to the communication, many things are lost because you have to come down to the user. You have to realize that the industry is your customer. You have to change the language to suit the customer. Granted, the university is an institution of high learning. Therefore, you would be very comfortable in that language. But it has to be brought down to a language that can be understood. So this is what I would say to take care of the two items. Did I miss anything that you mentioned?
I don't think so you missed anything. I think you hit the nail on the head there. But does it answer your question? Yeah, okay then. Okay, do we have any other questions? Anyone with a really burning issue regarding innovation and commercialization? Or you're angry that, you send your entry in for a competition where you thought your product has got high commercializability and nobody seems to notice it? No. So with that, I think, speakers, do you want to have any last comments? Yes.
Sorry, am I having the last word, or gentlemen, you would like to also say something? Okay. Just an idea that since, I think credit where credit is due, the university has taken this great step of organizing this seminar to put, all the ideas of wealth generation and so on with vis-a-vis the university research. One of the things that I would really like to propose is that maybe you could have a project with the small and medium industries in this area. Look for them, or maybe you might want to find out from the state office, right? Look for them and have a visit. Try to understand what the real ground situation is. I think that will help, put some perspective of research that can be taken up. Before I came in, I was told that this area is famous for pottery. Yeah. So maybe there's something that the university can offer the pottery industry, something that they're already doing. It may not be even technology or very high end. It could be a marketing plan, a way to get their products out. Why do you have to come to Batu Pahat just to get the pottery, for which it already has a name? And I was told that with the highway, people tend to bypass the town. So possibly you could look, just create an interesting project. How do you improve the livelihood of the people of the pottery makers of Batu Pahat? That would be interesting. Those things will endear, I think, the university to the people or to the community where you exist. Because like it or not, people have a very high respect for the university. I think in Malaysia, respect for university is very high. So they are in awe of you. So it will be nice for you to go down and get to know them as well. I'm just saying this because I think based on our experience with the SME Students Attachment Program, 3 months was a great time. Everybody enjoyed the project. And I think the students were really, bubbling when they presented. So I think it's a good experience. It could be done during a semester break or something.
Okay, thank you very much for that. I think we will take up that very good suggestion. We've got what we call PECA, which stands for, in Malay, it's called PECA, an acronym. It stands for the Pusat. It's the Center for Industry and Corporate Relations. And I think we will have to work closely with them to try to develop this further. Okay, thank you very much. I think with that, I think it's about time we break off for tea, and I leave it to the MC. Okay, right, I'll do the honors. Thank you very much to all the speakers, Mr. Philip Mendes, Mr. Sandiping, Mr. Ikuro Nagono, and last but not least, Puan Fazila. Thank you very much once again, and please put your hands together and a show of appreciation. Thanks. And now, please adjourn to DJ1 for a short and brief tea break. And with that, we end this showcase and seminar on Innovation and Commercialization 2008. Thank you very much.